Well, hello, and that sounded a bit weird, didn't it? Well, hello, and welcome to my latest video. I was thinking, and I was watching a couple of other of my favourite YouTubers. I was thinking, you guys don't know much about me. There are 5,000, just over 5,000 subscribers, and welcome all the new subscribers. Welcome all the old subscribers. And you're probably thinking, well, we don't know much about you, Julian. We know you're 64, nearly 65. We know that you're occasionally retired, you're occasionally working. We know sometimes your family forces you to go and live in the garage. You're quite keen on cycling. What else do we know about you? We don't really know anything else about you. So I thought it was time to do, yes, folks, 13 things that you didn't know about Julian Hutchings. I've got them written down on my list here. And being of a certain age, I can't remember everything. So if I have to look down at my list, that's the reason why. Now, the first thing you'll want to know is I was once offered the throne of Catatonia. Yes, that little republic in the Balkans. And how did that happen? Well, I was in my early 20s, and I was hitchhiking around Europe, as you do, and I ended up in Catatonia. And I was walking along, and I was stopped by some secret police. I knew they were secret police because they told me they were secret police. And they said, look, the King of Catatonia is doing a drive-through through the city in celebration of one of the great victories against whichever nation it was. And we're a bit worried about assassination. And the fact is, you are the spitting image of the King of Catatonia. So we would like you to take his place in the motorcade, and therefore, if you get shot, the king is safe. And if you don't get shot, well, we'll give you a few bob, couple of nights stay at the Holiday Inn of your choice, and away you go. And I agreed to it. Yes, I must have been mad, but I agreed to it. And luckily, folks, I survived the assassination attempt. So I wasn't really offered the throne, but I was sort of offered the throne for a short period of time. I was the king of Catatonia. The other thing you'd like to know about me is in my younger days, in my 20s, I was a model. You might think, a model? Oh, come on, Julian. Well, I was a hand model. You see these? These are my hands, and I think you'll agree that I have hands of rare beauty. They are delicate, they are smooth, and they have appeared in many adverts. So they still appear actually sometimes when you see some adverts on the telly. I won't tell you which ones. You work that out for yourself. And occasionally on posters, big billboards, something like that, you see a pair of hands doing something, and you think those are nice hands. Well, folks, it is quite possible that those hands are mine. My other claim to fame, or another claim to fame, is that I was an extra in the biggest grossing film of all time, Avatar, yes, directed by James Cameron. And I played, well, what else? I played an avatar. I was 7 feet, just over 7 feet tall. I was kind of green, rather thin, not thinner than I am now. Big eyes. I mean, it took a lot of makeup. You can't turn a 6-foot person into a 7-foot person without some pretty careful cinematic makeup. But they did it, and I've still got the makeup, still got the stuff that they used to make my legs longer. And unfortunately, I don't have the stuff that they used to make me very thin. I wasn't able to keep that. Now, as you know, I'm a keen cyclist. When I was a lot younger, and I did start when I was very young, I used to ride a tricycle, and I lived in Australia around about that time, and I was, yes, the under-5 tricycle champion of Australia. Yes, I went in for a number of competitions, and the final race was a 50-mile long distance race, which when you're 4.5 and you're on a tricycle, that takes some doing. Anyway, I won it. In fact, I won by a day and a half, and I got a trophy. Still have the trophy somewhere. Not sure where. I'll find it one day. I was also very interested in politics, and in my 40s, I stood for Parliament. On a kind of a libertarian ticket, as you can imagine. I wasn't very successful. I got 9 votes, which is the second lowest of all time. Nigel Farage still holds the record for the least amount of votes, but I got nine votes. I'm sorry to say that of the people who didn't vote for me, my family were amongst them, which I was not happy about. But they didn't agree with my policies, and they wanted to elect someone else, and so the good people of West Wickham selected somebody else. They didn't select me. One of my favourite foods are these. These are gherkins, and these are in fact Mrs. Elwood's. They call these sweet and sour cucumbers, but I believe in the US of A, they are known as gherkins. When I was travelling around the US on a big cycle tour in my 30s, I stopped in a little town in Oklahoma, a little town of Buff in Oklahoma, and I entered a gherkin eating competition. And as it happened, I came first. I had to eat 87 gherkins in the space of 4 minutes, and I can tell you they are not that easy. I mean, once you've had the first 70 were okay, but I found the last 17 a bit of a struggle. I still like the odd gherkin, and here you are. You see, I can still do it, and there I've finished the jar of gherkins. Why not? You'll also know I have a long-standing antipathy towards tubeless tyres. And the reason for that is that I still hold the record, yes, in Kent, for the most punctures in a tubeless tyre in a single ride. And I had 32 punctures in a single Schwalbe Pro 1 tyre, and in the end I was having to beg sealant and tubes and patches and all kinds of stuff from cyclists that I met along the road. But 32 punctures in a single tyre in a single ride is still a record, and in fact I was mentioned and got my picture in Cycling Weekly, which you can still find in the archives if you look in for it. You'll also know that I'm quite a keen writer, and I've written a number of stories and a number of short stories. And one of my short stories, called Only Connect, came 7th in a short story writing competition. And there was a sex scene in one of my stories, which somebody submitted for a bad literary sex award, which I thought was a little bit mean. Actually, you can still find the story. I can't try to think of which one it is now. It's set in the Tour de France anyway. So if you look through Hot Wings, that's it. It's called Hot Wings. If you ever come across a story of mine called Hot Wings, there is a sex scene in it which some people think is in exceedingly poor taste, but I quite enjoyed writing it. Another thing about me is I have 3 tattoos. I'm not going to tell you where they are, and I'm not going to tell you what they are either, because some of them are in a place where you don't want to get a tattoo, and they're also in a place that you don't want anyone except your nearest and dearest to see them. And some of the messages, which are they're in a foreign language, and if somebody happened to know that particular language and read the message, they might be a little bit upset. And I don't think they'd be upset about it. They might be a little bit embarrassed, but they're never going to get close enough to read them, so don't you worry about that. As a keen cyclist and not a particularly good climber, I have packed, which is a kind of nicer word than given up, on some of the best climbs in the world. In fact, I gave up on the Bonnet, which is in the Southern Alps in France. I gave up on the Angliru, which is in Spain, and I have failed on 5 occasions to climb the Koppenberg, which is particularly... it's not a very long climb, and although it's pretty steep, it's not that steep all along, but for some reason it is my nemesis, and I have never succeeded in climbing the Koppenberg. But one day, perhaps when I'm 70 and have a decent bike, not a gravel bike, and preferably not tubeless tyres, I might actually be able to get up the Koppenberg. One of my favourite TV shows is Curb Your Enthusiasm. And I once binge watched every episode, that's 8 series, 80 episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm over a particularly damp and wet and unpleasant bank holiday. So 40 hours, roughly 40 hours, not including adverts. So I started on a Friday evening and I finished late on a Sunday night with the occasional break for toilet and meals and the odd bit of sleeping, something like that. And the last item, and this is the one that I'm perhaps most proud of. The first Rafa catalogue, yes, and those aficionados amongst you who still have your first original copy of the Rafa catalogue, I was one of the models. Yes, I didn't have white hair then. It was quite it was thick and luxuriant and a lot redder than it is now. And I had a big beard. I had some other tattoos. These were fake tattoos because you needed fake tattoos if you were going to appear in a Rafa catalogue. Well, you needed tattoos, and I didn't have any proper ones, so I got fake ones. And I had a big bushy beard, big moustache, like all the models do. And I was in that first catalogue. So if you ever dig it out or you find it on eBay for 100 quid or so, buy it. And there you are. You can see some pictures of me as a Rafa model. Well, there's 13 things you didn't know about Julian Hutchings. Wish you didn't know. And now you do know. And you can tell all your friends. I'm going to watch that idiot on YouTube again. And please remember, if you like my videos, you can like, you can subscribe, you can hit the notification bell, and then you'll get a knock on the head when one of my new videos is loaded up onto my channel, as they say. Also, too, please remember that this channel raises money for the Vine Food Bank, which is in Croydon in the United Kingdom. So when you sit through the adverts and you sit through the videos, you're dropping those little pennies into the food bank for people who are less fortunate than you. So thanks for watching, and next video we might get back to the cycling. So see you next time.